Hey, Brian Inskip here with eXp Realty on Oak Island. Today I'm coming at you from a recent renovation property that we did in the wooded section. That's a short-term rental now. But really today what I want to do is just bring you up to speed with what's going on the Oak Island real estate market as a whole. So I've got some interesting statistics to share with you today so that you can keep a pulse on what's going on in the market. Oak Island real estate market continues to be a very interesting one. So we'll talk about pricing on Oak Island. We'll talk about the inventory on Oak Island, and then what all that kind of means, how it's playing out. So the first thing we always talk about when it comes to real estate and that everybody wants to know is what are prices doing? Whether you're thinking of selling or buying, that's always something that is front and center in the conversation. So on Oak Island, year over year, our sales prices are actually up 11%. Which is a great gain. That's great appreciation. That's much higher than the average appreciation rate. We're down about 1.4% from our pricing peak in September. So September of this year was really where we saw pricing peak, and we've given back just a little bit, so 1.4%, not a huge deal. Your price per square foot, so the price that a home sells for based on the square footage, that's up 2.5% over a year ago. That has leveled off here recently over these last couple months, and actually most of the year for 2022, it's remained pretty level, but year over year, that's up 2.5%. We're actually down from the peak. We peaked in about June of 22 this year. We're down about 7.3% from that point in time. That was mainly driven by prices going, houses selling well over the asking price. So that kind of inflated pricing. Now we're seeing more of a normalized pricing. The list to sale price ratio, that's the price that a property is on the market for versus the price it actually sells for. That's dropped a little bit, 1.3% year over year, and down from the high of 99.9% in June of this year. So back in June, sellers were expecting to get 99.9% of what they were asking to the sales price. So currently we're sitting at 97.1%, which is still historically strong, and again, very relative to the property. So that kind of covers your pricing on Oak Island right now. So we've seen lots of gains. That's great for sellers. As far as inventory is concerned, there's some interesting numbers going on right now. So the number of closed properties over this past month, November of 22, is actually down 52.3%, which is a new low for the year for us. And we had a huge drop from October to November. So there's less properties that sold over this last month. The number of pending sales currently on Oak Island is down 48%, so kind of right in line with that closed number. And that is also a new low for the year. So the number of homes that are actually under contract waiting to close is down quite a bit. The number of properties for sale has jumped quite a bit, about the same amount. So we're up 42.9% on the number of properties that are actually for sale at the moment in Oak Island. And that's down from August though. So we kind of peaked in August. Now that number is starting to come back down. So we'll probably see that inventory continue to shrink. And we've been pretty level since September on that. The number of new listings, so that's new properties coming on the market, that's dropped 5.2% over the year. The low in recent history was December of 2021. But we are starting to see the number of new listings come on decrease, which is going to reduce the inventory and increase the competition like we saw over these last couple years. Maybe not quite as extreme, but we are expecting to see that inventory start to decrease. We hit the high on that one in June of this year, so you can kind of see June was kind of a high point and transition point in the market, where now we're starting to level out into a more normalized market. So the next thing we always want to talk about is supply. How are those numbers impacting the supply of housing on Oak Island? So right now we're sitting at 3.2 months worth of inventory. So that means that if no new properties came on the market, it'd take us about three and a half months basically to sell everything at the current rate of sale. That is down from February of 22 is where we hit the low over these last couple years. So in February of 2022, we actually were less than a month worth of inventory, which is extremely low. 3.2 months that we're at right now is still considered a seller's market, but getting closer to more of a balanced market. The days on market, which is how long it takes a property to sell, that's down 2.3% from a year ago. So properties are selling quicker than they were a year ago. We've started to level off on that. So right now we're sitting at 42 days on average for a property to sell, which is still very quick historically. We hit our low point on days on market in June of 2021 at 17 days on the market. So that was about the point in time where we hit extremely low inventory levels, and it was really driving competition. So now we're definitely in more of a normalized market, but there's phenomenal opportunities if you're thinking of selling a property with the increase in pricing. It certainly appears that we've probably hit a peak on pricing and now we're leveled off. It may go up and down a little bit depending on what happens with interest rates, but that interest rate also seems to be impacting the market, creating a little more hesitation with buyers, or buyers kind of waiting to see what happens with the market. But I do expect as we get into 2023, a lot of buyers are going to go ahead and move, and we'll start to see the inventory levels decrease, competition increase, but I think we'll see a fairly level year. So it's still a phenomenal time to sell and take advantage of some of the huge gains that we've seen over these last couple years. But then for buyers, there's also some opportunities with a decrease in the list to sell price ratio. So that means there's some sellers out there that are willing to negotiate a little more than they have in recent past. And then also longer times on the market means you got a little more time to make a decision and kind of see what all's out there. But in any case, whether you're thinking of buying or selling, or you just want to know exactly where your property fits into all this, it's very relative to the property, what type of property it is, and where it's located. So the first step is always to give me a call, and we can start to talk through your property or talk through your goals of purchasing a property and come up with a good game plan that is specific for your goals and your situation. So I hope you've enjoyed this market update on Oak Island. Phenomenal opportunities here right now. And if you have any questions, just give me a shout. But hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great and blessed holiday season.